I'm Todd Sievert. To my right is Bill Rozelle. To my left is Bobby Phillips. We collectively are known as the Finance Committee, and we are here at about 5:45 on a December 14th for the purpose of two issues. The first is to provide a recommendation to Council regarding implementing the non-union compensation study results. I assume Mr. Tittington? Are you the one?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We are asking for Council to approve the new compensation plan. Just as by way of background, you might recall that last year during the Finance Committee discussion about the 2023 budget, Council directed that we do this compensation plan. We had not done one in 20 years or more, and the concern was, are we being competitive? Are we, especially at the time, it's gotten a little better, but not much. There are questions about our ability to recruit, retain, and fairly compensate employees. We did contract with Clemens Nelson, which is a regional consultant that specializes in this kind of work. They've done several studies for area cities and governments. You have a copy of the executive summary in your packet. The study found that, in general, our staff compensation levels are competitive. They did note that we do have several exceptions where when they compared it to their job duties as well as to other comparable communities, with 10 positions do need to make some adjustment if you adopt the new plan to bring them up to the minimum of the scale or the step, as it were. Those exceptions, which we had anticipated when we had the discussion earlier in November regarding the 2024 budget, that equates to approximately $51,000 of impact across all funds for 2024, and which was built into the budget. One of the positions is higher than the current market, but we're not cutting any salaries at all. That would just work itself out. We've consistently done that in the past when we've done individual reassessments, and so that would just work itself out with attrition, retirement, resignation, what have you. So the scales that you will see, you'll see two spreadsheets with the ordinance. One of them is the hourly employees, and the other is the salaried employees. Hourly is just that. They're paid by the hour. They're specified by the hour. If they earn overtime, or if they work overtime, they earn overtime. The other are the exempt employees, which have salary ranges consistent with how we do it now. They do not get overtime. We flex in and out. They just work what they need to get the job done. The study is recommending, the consultant's recommending that we standardize to one set 14 grade scale, and everybody then would be slotted in one of those grades consistent with where they're at now, compensation-wise, plus wherever the study is recommending that they be. And again, all but 10 of those positions are where they need to be. I guess 11, but and that, along with that, when we talk about the hourly employees, we have some positions that have maybe one or two steps, but we don't necessarily call them steps. There might be a clerk typist A and a clerk typist B position. We have other positions where there may be just a single position, a single step, so they don't advance at all, other than cost of living. We have one or two positions that have multiple steps, one of which I can think of has six steps, A through G, 7 steps. What the consultant is recommending for stability and standardization is that those hourly, all of the hourly pay grades have a 6-step system. So you'll see that. The exempt employees will continue to have the minimum and maximum range, and they are compensated annually through their performance evaluations and the scores that they receive for those. We did also talk at the 2024 budget discussion about the supplemental cost of living adjustment, the 2%. That's in the recommendation as well, to maximize retention, minimize recruitment costs. We had also had a discussion regarding the unionized employees, since this covers the non-union employees. There are some additional steps that we need to take, and probably shouldn't use procedures that we would need to follow regarding the union employees. So their contracts have their wages already set for 2024. We would normally begin negotiations for the 25 through 27 years towards the end of the fall, early winter of next year. Mr. Wendling is reaching out to each of the employing units, the 6 union groups, thank you, to talk to them about maybe beginning negotiations early in 2024, and that way that 2% can be part of that discussion, and then at that time we would come back to you, possibly, if not probably, with a retroactivity clause regarding that 2%. So that was after talking to our labor attorney. That's the best way that she's recommending that we move forward with that. So we're not excluding them, giving them the opportunity to come and start negotiations early, and then we'll work our way through that. Mark, did I miss anything? No. Okay. We are not asking for emergency legislation. We would ask that when this goes into effect, it would take effect retroactively to January 1st, because it'll become effective at the earliest sometime in mid to late January.
Good. I have a couple questions. I know you indicated this, but just so it's clear and on the record, this was all discussed in the budget as in one of the reasons it's underfinanced, and so these expenses are already as part of the 2024 budget, yes. Correct?
That's correct.
Second, I believe from out of our meeting conversations, this has all been discussed with the auditor, and he concurs with this plan of action, correct?
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Thank you. Excellent question, Mr. Chair. Not only is the auditor on board, we have 5 employing units in the city. So if you look at the letterhead at the beginning, the memo is written to Mr. Lutz, and usually it's from me. In this case, it's from the mayor, Mr. Frigge, Mr. Kerber, Marty Hobart, who's the chair of the Recreation Board, and Jordan Emmerich, the president of the Park Board. And the reason for that is that each one of us are our own employing unit. So I'm the employing unit for 95% of the employees, but the Park Board hires and manages their own employees, the Recreation Board the same way, as well as the auditor and Mr. Kerber. And so I did discuss with each one of those folks about this, including Mr. Frigge, and they're all in support.
Okay, and thank you. And the last point that I think is important for the public who watches this or follows this to know, this will not have any impact, nor does it have any raises for elected officials, correct?
That's correct. The state law dictates when that can happen, which is not right now.
Right. So
it could happen right now, but it wouldn't be effective until at a minimum
right.
the next term.
Right, I understand that. But what we're doing right now, the 2% and everything else, does not have, just so the public's aware, does not have any impact on us as elected officials.
Correct.
That's all the questions or statements I had. Mr. Rozelle, do you have anything? Nope. Mr. Phillips?
Yes, thank you. I'm glad that the impact that we're seeing, at least at a dollar amount on an annual basis at this point, is not out of line, that we have fairly compensated our employees. I'm glad to see that the consultant has borne that out, and that there's, I wouldn't say minimal, but there's very small adjustments that need to be made, and that the one person or the one position that you indicated that was on the very high end that will be taken care of also over time. So that's a good thing. I'm very happy overall. The main question I have is the 2%. Do we have an extrapolation of what that is going to cost us on an annual basis?
No, I meant to bring that. That was a line item that was in the general government for 2024.
Right.
That's why I pointed it out when we discussed it at the budget. But I apologize. I meant to bring that document, but I can share that with you.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank
Anything
you.
else? Mr. Whitten, anything? Anyone in the audience have anything they wish to bring forward on this issue? Seeing none, Mr. Rozelle, how do you wish to proceed?
Forward.
Mr. Phillips?
Same.
And I would concur that we have a unanimous report to move forward to council. I will read the next item on the agenda, but I cannot participate in discussions or deliberations. The next matter before the court is to provide a recommendation to council regarding authorizing the Director of Public Service and Safety to enter into a professional environmental service agreement with the Mannix and Smith Group of Maumee, Ohio, to investigate and clean up an abandoned gas station property located at 100 West Market Street, Troy, Ohio, and submit a no further action letter to the Bureau of Underground Storage Tank Regulations, Buster, at a cost not to exceed $250,000. And again, I have a conflict with the property owner here. So I will turn it over to Mr. Rozelle or Mr. Phillips, whoever wants to do it, and I will recuse myself from all further deliberations.
So who's going to present the staff report on that?
I can give it. It's a pretty simple matter, and then Nikki is here if you have any of the real questions. So $250,000 is what we are asking. This is similar to the work that was done out at the corner of Canal and South Market. This is a program through the state of Ohio. We will be reimbursed 100%. And it just involves any cleanup work related to 100 West Market Street, which you might also know as where Ducky's Ice Cream is located, which was also a former gas station.
The old BP station.
In time. So it's fairly straightforward. We are not asking for emergency legislation.
Do you have anything?
I just want to clarify that this funding is only for the vacant lot, what we refer to as like the parking lot, where the existing gas fuel pumps are still there. So this funding will be used to remove the underground storage tanks, remove those dispensers, fueling dispensers, and put in a new parking lot or asphalt it the way it was before. So I just wanted to clarify that the building is not part of the scope of this work.
Do we have any indication that there are issues or remediation efforts that need to be done with the building?
So a Phase 1 and a Phase 2 environmental assessment has been completed on this parcel. It was completed by Manick & Smith as well through an Ohio EPA targeted brownfield assessment grant that the city received this year. And there isn't any indication that there's, severe contamination. It'll be better determined once they open it up and get the tanks, and then they'll be able to see the soil around. But the current borings that they have pulled already through that sampling has not indicated anything significant.
Excellent. Do we have any idea, presuming that council does pass this, when construction may start?
So we would be able to start in January 17th, 30 days after the resolution would pass on Monday. Our hope is to get in there and get those tanks out before Ducky's has to open. That is the goal. But there is still some questions on whether or not is there any contamination, and they won't really know that until they open the ground up.
Got it. And Mr. Butler is fully aware of everything that's going on there. Does he actually own the property, or is he renting, leasing?
He is leasing.
He's leasing, okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
We had Gloria Morrison sign off and give us consent to apply for the funding and to do this project.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Roselle. Mr. Wood, anyone else in the audience have any questions or comments on this item? Mr. Roselle, your pleasure with this?
When we move it forward, they need emergency? Move forward.
All right, then it's unanimous with the two committee members present that can vote on this, that we will move forward as staff is requesting at this point. Any other items come before this committee?
Yes, sir.
Then we are adjourned. Thank you all for attending.
Thank you for meeting.